and friends.
Aunt Liz TV!
She's a magician in the kitchen.
Aunt Liz TV!
Watched on Mondays and Thursdays.
Aunt Liz TV!
Cooking yummy foods and tasty treats.
Aunt Liz TV!
Your mouth waters and tastes the fun sleep.
Aunt Liz TV!
It's time to eat.
Aunt Liz TV!
Aunt Liz TV.
Aunt Liz TV!
Hey everybody, welcome to Yummy Monday. As you'll notice by our background, we're not in the kitchen today. That's because we are in the dining room, which also I call my craft room. Today we're making a craft instead of a food recipe. Now, I know that most of you have seen the movie Tangled. And one of my favorite parts of the movie Tangled is where Rapunzel sees all the beautiful lanterns that are being sent out into the sky for her birthday. And I thought, how cool would that be to have a whole room full of those lanterns? But it might be kind of expensive, or that's what I thought. I was walking around a dollar store one day when I found these paper lanterns. And the cool thing about these lanterns is, well, one, they're $1, so they're budget friendly. But two, if you put a battery in it, there's got a little light inside, so it becomes a lantern. So today, I'm going to show you how to make your very own paper lanterns. Now, I'm not going to make a whole room full of them, but at only $1, you maybe could. Okay, so the supplies you need are your paper lantern, some tissue paper, batteries, and some double-sided Scotch tape, and scissors. Now I'm using these fancy triangle-shaped scissors today. They're called pinking shears, and what they do is they just give your paper, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, a fancy edge. Instead of just a plain circle, you can see that we've got little points around all of our paper, and it just kind of adds a nice interesting touch. So what I have done is I've already started, because this part is probably the hardest part. It takes quite a while. What I did is just cut out little circles, and how I did that I'll show you. You take your tissue paper, and I didn't unfold it. I just left it the way it came out of the package. So then you fold it in half, and then you just start cutting your circle. Now, some of you might need your adult assistant to help. Some of you can do this part on your own. Now, they also make some scissors that are really fancy, that have even fancier edges than just the triangles that I'm using. So if you have some of those, you could try that as well. I think that'd be really cool. Okay, so we have enough to get started. So we've got our stack of tissue circles. We're going to open our package of our lantern, and it comes like this. So put your fingers on the bottom and on the top, and then just gently pull, and it opens up. Now see, it goes back down because we haven't put our supports in yet. So this part I had a little trouble with when I was doing a practice, but I'm sure you can get it on the first try. We'll see how I do with this one. So there's a circle on this end, and then two little points on this end. You put the circle at the bottom over the light. And then what you want to do is, you can see in the top there's these two little circles. That's where your points are going to go. So we're going to go ahead and put over the circle, and then you pull, 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 and you have to bend your light a little bit. You won't break it. It's a lot tougher than you would think, actually. Okay, so now there, we've got our lantern filled up, and I'm going to clean up this area, and we'll be back to start a project. Okay, so we've got our lantern all set, and I forgot to mention too that on the very top of the lantern there's a little hook, so we'll show how to display that later. But the first thing you're going to do is kind of figure out what pattern you want. So I've got patterned tissue paper, so I'm going to have my striped and my solid. So what I'm going to do is alternate those, but the very first thing I'm going to do is, and I'm going to start at the top. I had to think where I was going to start. Okay, so peel off one piece of Scotch tape, and you're going to just put it right on the lantern. Now I usually do a couple at a time, and I usually do them 2 or 3 inches long. So you just stick them on there. You don't have to be neat. You don't have to follow the curve of the lantern. And then you're going to just take your tissue paper and find the edge of your tape and just tape it on. So now I'm going to alternate with this one, and now I'm going to pick a striped one again, And now a colored one. Now you could get as crazy with this pattern. You could use all kinds of different colors. You don't even have to do a pattern if you don't want it. It can be completely wild. And then a piece of tissue paper there. And I'm going to just keep going all the way around this lantern until the whole lantern is covered. Now we'll show you a trick for the second row. We'll put one more over here. And you might notice that I'm overlapping just a little bit on my tissue paper. Just enough so that the edge of the one you already, whoops, I got two there, that you already stuck down is covered. Okay, so for the second row, this is the same process for the whole thing. What you're going to do is just lift this row up, put a piece of tissue paper there. Might be helpful to separate your tissue paper before mine is sticking together. And you just stick it on. And then you just fold that one back down. Now the nice thing is about this is that it gives you a little bit of depth. So I'm going to keep working at this, and we'll come back in just a few minutes and see what the finished product looks like. Okay, we're back. Now you may notice that this is the one that we started, this is the one that we finished up. That's because I found some tissue paper that I thought was really, really cool, so I decided to do this one instead. So we have just one last step, and that's to put the batteries in. So what you're going to need for this kind of lantern, now if you find a different kind of lantern, this may change, but this lantern needs 2 AAA batteries, and they're the tiny ones. So you just take the lid off the top and pop them in the bottom. And I'm going to pop the other one in. And then you put your lid back on, and now I'm going to hang it from our chandelier, and then I'm going to go turn the lights off and turn our lantern on, and we're going to see how beautiful it looks. So we'll be right back. Okay, wasn't that beautiful? It maybe was kind of hard to see, but in person, I promise you it was beautiful. And I can only imagine a whole room, or even just 3 or 4, would make an excellent nightlight. It would just be a really neat decoration to add to your room. And it's simple, it's budget friendly, all of you can do this. So I look forward to seeing your creations. See you on Thursday.
Bring your family and friends.
Aunt Liz TV!
She's a magician in the kitchen.
Aunt Liz TV!
Watch it on Mondays and Thursdays.
Aunt Liz TV!
Cooking yummy foods and tasty treats.
Aunt Liz TV!
Give up orders and taste the bun sleep.